que se hace una historia, se habla de un viejo, de un niño, de sí.
That mural cannot be touched by anybody from the outside to come to El Barrio to tell us what we can have or not have in our space. That is intolerable, and we're going to the mural to defend the mural, to send a message that this is not acceptable at all.
Es una historia enterrada, es sobre un ser de la nada. Nació de una tormenta, en el sol de una noche el penúltimo mes. Fue de planeta en planeta, buscando agua potable. Quizás buscando la vida o buscando la muerte, eso nunca se sabe. Quizás buscando siluetas o algo semejante que fuera adorable, o por lo menos querible, besable, amable. Él descubrió que las minas del rey Salomón se hallaban en el cielo y no en el África ardiente, como pensaba la gente. Pero las piedras son frías y le interesaban calor y alegría.
América Latina está en llama por los reaccionarios come mierda que creen que tirándole pinturas rojas a la cara de Che nos va a parar. Nosotros como un pueblo puertorriqueño estamos en lucha. Que le tiren pintura a todos los murales. Che vive en los corazones de todo el mundo en este mundo. Y eso, con sus mentiras, no va a cambiar. Porque nosotros y nosotras sabemos la verdad. Che nos dio vida, nos dio palabra. Terminó el silencio que los tenían nosotros muertos. I invite you to take on this struggle, not only for the freedom of Puerto Rico, but also for the freedom of the people of Cuba to continue to be free. Because yes, they're hungry because of US imperialism. Yes, they don't have the bullshit luxuries that we all supposedly have. But they're free. They're free. And yes, many have died for that freedom. Many, many. But freedom is real. So I invite you to stand with Cuba. I invite you to say no to imperialism. I invite you to say basta ya, enough is enough. It is on us. It is on us. I have broken bread with the Cuban people. I, as a member of Pastors for Peace, have broken the blockade many a times and taken material aid for Cuba. As a young woman, I went to Cuba with the Venceremos Brigade and planted trees in La Isla de la Juventud. Trees that disappeared when Maria came and devastated Cuba. But the Cuban knew they're dead. We were not able, we Puerto Ricans were not able to know our dead. 6,000 died, and who knows how many more. So you understand, you who are here today, remember, Cuba is free. They might be hungry, but they're free. And they have shared the little that they have with the whole world. This mural up here has been here since 1999, a very important date in the history of resistance of the Puerto Rican people. September 1999, we freed our 5 nationalists. Lolita Lebron, yes. Oscar Collazo, yes. Okay. Andrés Figueroa Cordero, everybody, and of course, Rafael Cancel Miranda, who just passed during COVID. Okay? We did that. I was in that campaign since the late 60s. I was a kid. Each one of you needs to be part of a campaign. Each one of you needs to be part of action. I am an artist. I do ceramic sculpture and I do earth art. Images are very powerful. As they say, an image can say 1,000 words. I'm going to invite artists who are here today, who have been part of this project, to speak to you of their meaning and why we ask people to be here with us today. I wish the reactionary gusano come mierda que se llaman cubanos, que si hay algunos de ellos aquí, que vengan aquí y escuchen la verdad y no la propaganda yankee. If there's any of these gusanos here, reactionary so-called Cubans, come here, listen to the truth. This is the truth. And why we artists give our heart to Cuba. And as a Puerto Rican, we will not be erased. Cuba will not be erased. We are here and we're gonna stay here. Hasta que nuestra patria sea libre y hasta que los yankees se vayan todos fucking yankees para el carajo.
What happens here, I know we all feel it is very devastating to our community because we are talking about a movement about independence, right? Sovereignty, the ability of people to govern their own nations and their own communities, right? The reason that this was chosen is because Don Pedro Albizu Campos was fighting for the independence of Puerto Rico. When we look at the current situation on the island of Borinquen, we know that it is run by U.S. imperialism and that there's a reason that so many people have had to leave their homelands. We do not want to leave. Anybody who has ever been to a Caribbean island knows that we don't want to leave our paradise to come and deal with winters and oppression and projects and all types of things that we have to go through here in the United States of, you know, the Klansmen. So this isn't something where it's like, oh, we just want to migrate here to get all these resources. We're talking about our homelands being looted, our resources being stolen, right? The fact that there are such high taxes on the resources that are naturally should remain on the island, that then it's like an island as abundant as Puerto Rico has to import so much food. And you go to a supermarket and a penca de sábila that can grow on anybody's backyard is $6 and people aren't even getting paid decent wages. You know, there's a reason that so many people are here, and there's also a reason that Boricuas raise that flag so proudly. Because really, even if, you know, people are living here, we migrate with our cultures, you know. And so What's happening in Cuba is extremely devastating. I understand that there are so many devastating situations all over all of our homelands. You know what I mean? And also, it is very tied to U.S. imperialism. You know, I also with SP. The first time I went to Cuba, I was 15 with IFCO Pastor for Peace. Rest in peace, Lucius Walker. SP was on that brigade. She organized a group of us young people, right? I have been back to Cuba 4 times, right? I am very connected to the Cuban community because I practice Afro-Cuban spirituality, right? I have family that lives over there. You understand? So I'm not saying that I don't understand people's frustration and outrage at the fact that people are going hungry, right? At the fact that they don't have the resources to the medical things that they need, right? And also, what I'm saying is that the answer is not to call in the United States. The people that did this to this mural and have been so obsessed with this mural and vandalizing it are literally people that are calling for President Biden's involvement in Cuba, which would mean that Cuba would become ultimately another colony or puppet government of the United States. We know that this government is a genocidal government all over the world, right? So these people are talking supposedly about human rights, but I haven't seen them speaking about the babies in Palestine. I haven't seen them organizing around the immigrant babies in cages. I haven't seen any of that. They are just very maybe politically ignorant, you know what I mean? And calling in the United States government for foreign involvement, which they should not do. We know that the CIA done went and murdered the Haitian president, you know what I mean? All of these things are happening. It doesn't mean that the Haitian people weren't already in uprising against the person that was there. It means that we are aware that the United States has nothing to do being in these places, because they will not do anything but continue to murder, oppress, enslave people, just like they enslave us here with their mass incarceration system, just like they haven't given black people reparations, just like they have native people from this land on reservations as they land grab and steal everybody's homelands, right? So we know that the United States is not going to do anything for anybody. They increased the sanctions and tightened up the restrictions with the blockade in the middle of a pandemic where people, if they really cared about health, would be coming together and sharing resources. These people are murderers, right? These are the murderers. Why are we not putting blood on Biden instead of asking him and going to Washington to get involved in more things when they're already murdering people all over the world? So with that being said, you know, this is our mural. Like as we said, this has been here over 20 years. The people have already had to restore it before, you know, just not because it was vandalized, but just because after so many years of wear and tear, there was a community effort to come together, and the people came together and fixed up the mural. So that is why today we're saying, you know, we have to do something about this. It's not going to stay up like this. We're not going to allow another day to go by with blood on Che, right? And then not talking about all the blood on the U.S. government. And yeah, like, this is really the people's movement.
Hi everyone, my name is Rooney. I'm Haitian, and I'm here today to speak about Pan-Caribbean solidarity. I think that we need to realize that all of our struggles are connected. From Puerto Rico to Haiti to Cuba, we are under attack under U.S. imperialism, and the only reason why the U.S. is in our lands, in our countries, are to steal our resources, and we need to see that. We need to be building solidarity amongst ourselves, meaning we're raising our own foods, we're building our own schools, we are building independence amongst ourselves, independent of the U.S., independent of neo-colonial foreign aid. We need to be here, we need to be fighting against neo-colonialism, anti-blackness, and we need to realize that in the Caribbean, we are really at the center of the world. We are where modernity, coloniality started, and we are where it's going to end. Okay, this is our history. We have the blood of resistance in our veins, and it is really our destiny and our liberty to be fighting here today. And the attack here on this mural is really an attack on all of us, and we need to realize that. So I'm really calling you today to fight with your Haitian brothers and sisters, with your Cuban brothers and sisters, and realize that the U.S. is our enemy. We need to be rooted in class struggle and anti-racist struggle, and we need to keep fighting no matter what. Thank you so much.
Saludos compatriotas. Cuba y Puerto Rico son de un pájaro las dos alas. Reciben flores y balas en un mismo corazón. Estos versos de la poetisa puertorriqueña Lola Rodríguez de Tió resumen la hermandad y solidaridad que históricamente ha existido entre nuestras dos naciones y que recoge el mural ante el cual nos encontramos. Desde el siglo XIX, cubanos y puertorriqueños coordinaron sus luchas por la independencia del imperio que a ambas naciones sojuzgaban. Así es como en 1892, a instancias de José Martí y por cubanos y puertorriqueños, se funda el Partido Revolucionario Cubano para luchar por la independencia de Cuba y de Puerto Rico. A la luz de ello, más de 400 mambises puertorriqueños lucharon en la manigua cubana por la independencia no solo de Cuba, sino también de Puerto Rico. 200 años después, el 1 de enero de 1959, Cuba alcanza su total independencia y soberanía. Puerto Rico, invadida por Estados Unidos hace 123 años, permanece intervenida como colonia del más cruel e inhumano imperio que la humanidad haya conocido. Cuba, la Cuba digna y heroica, que también es de nosotros, mantiene el compromiso heredado de esos hombres y mujeres que juntos labraron los caminos de la redención patria. Es nuestro deber ayudarla hoy y siempre. La nación puertorriqueña, a la que pertenecemos todos los que la afirmamos, no importa el lugar donde hayamos nacido, tiene como su principal deber luchar por la independencia como única forma de descolonización. Desechemos los cantos de sirena que nos invitan a relajarnos en nuestras luchas. El imperio es el imperio y mantiene su colonia para su propio beneficio y no el de los colonizados. Tenemos que romper con todos los esquemas que ese imperio pone en el camino para que colaboremos con él y así destruir nuestras ansias de libertad. La guerra del imperio contra nuestra nación es implacable. Busca desaparecernos de la faz de la tierra. A esa guerra tenemos el deber de contestar, porque tenemos el derecho a la defensa. Es nuestro deber salvar la patria. Es el gobierno de los Estados Unidos el asesino que la acecha y la pone en peligro. Nuestra consigna debe ser: para el imperio, nada. Para la patria, todo. Venceremos. Muchas gracias.
This attack on this mural is not the only attack against the Puerto Rican community here in New York City by these right-wing Cubans. Specifically, women, mujeres, Boricua, Colombiana, Dominican have been the subject of really vile attacks by these right-wing Cubans. Physical intimidation, voicemail, nasty, horrible voicemail messages. What they practice is just hate. Si forget it. Because these two men are both freedom fighters who were tortured, imprisoned, and ultimately killed by the United States. Chad, after helping to liberate Cuba, went on to fight in Africa, South America, for people of color all over the world. Yes. People don't know that the Cuban flag was made here in New York. There are many, many, many connections. This is what we spoke to the community about when we renovated it. And we'll do that again when we do it again. And if they come again, we'll be back. But we want to show them that they are not welcome here in El Barrio with their terrorist tactics and their hateful personal attacks against women here in New York.
This is not only a disrespect to us that did the war, to the politics behind this war, the history of these two men, also with no real ideology, any understanding, just bullying. Our sister here who takes care and monitors what goes on in this neighborhood, a neighborhood that has a long history, we cannot tolerate that, and it will not be tolerated. In El Barrio, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, there was nowhere we're going to tolerate that in New York City. Okay?
The sister here and the brothers here, they bought this paint. You know what? So I'm asking all of us if you could just make any little donation right now to help the cost of those who have to repair this. It would be greatly appreciated.
Es hora de luchar, a este clamor patriótico, no arde tu corazón, ven, no seas simpático, el ruido del cañón, nosotros queremos la libertad, nuestros machetes nos clavarán. Vámonos, borinqueños, vámonos ya, que nos espera ansiosa la libertad, la libertad, la libertad, la libertad, la
and we started painting on the wall, we invited people from the community to be a part of it. So we had people who didn't have painting skills were painting straight lines. We're like, oh, can you paint a straight line? Yes. Oh, can you paint white in here? Yes. And so the community gathered around this mural and it became the community's mural. The community was in favor of this mural and also its sentiment. So for basically gentry come lately people to come to this community and decide that they're going to tell us what we can and cannot do and who we can pay homage to in our community, who we can pay homage to, people that we know actually fought the good fight for us so that we can stop being colonized at some point. You know, it was done for Cuba, it still hasn't been done for Puerto Rico. We still revere our ancestors who fought for us. We need to show people that nobody controls this community. We ourselves speak for this community. We are part of this community. And we have been a part of this struggle. And this mural has been here. Next year will be 25 years that this mural has been here. And it has been supported by the people of this community for nearly 25 years. That's significant.
De quererte cantar sufro disnea, bastante más allá de los pulmones. Tu sombra brilla hoy en la pelea mayor de la conciencia y las razones. Por ti canto de pecho, como el sueño en que giro, y leve, como aún respiro. Por ti adelanto trecho a lo que falta en tono y canto, lo que no perdono. Hombre, hombre y amigo, aún queda para estar contigo. Hombre, hombre sin templo, desciende a mi ciudad tu ejemplo. Supiste cabalgar contra quien odia desde su torre de oro y exterminio, pero en mi parecer te dio más gloria el alma que tallaste a tu dominio. La medicina escasa, la más insuficiente, es la de remediar la mente. Y la locura pasa, risueña cuando engaña, cual odio de la propia entraña. Hombre sin apellido, poco de piedad te pido. Hombre, hay todavía que un tanto más allá está el día de la melena inculta a la calvicie, del número inicial al incontable, desde la tumba hasta la superficie. Tras breve 20 tan multiplicable, me llega un canto alado de fiebres de la infancia, me brota la invención de la ansiedad, y entero y mutilado, furiosamente a besos te doy mi corazón travieso. Hombre, hombre sin muerte, la noche respiró tu suerte. Hombre de buen destino, y hay luces puestas en camino. Hombre sin muerte, la noche respiró tu suerte. Hombre de buen destino, y hay luces puestas en camino.